Okay, Vampire Anatomy 101. Crosses and holy water don't do dicks, so forget what you've seen in the movies. You use a wooden stake, silver, or sunlight to kill them. You know how to use one of these?
I'll damn sure learn.
Safety's off, rounds already chambered. Silver hollow point bullets filled with garlic. You aim for the head or the heart. Anything else, it's your ass.
It's extras and epilogues. Open the theater! Lights! Cameras! Action! Movies and reviews, things you might not have known. What happens when the credits roll? Let's get on with the show!
Vampire half-mortal man becomes a protector of the mortal race, sort of, by slaying the evil members of his kind. Hey, we're back. This is Extras and Epilogues on Podzilla 1985, the PZ85 network. The theater is open once again, and we are continuing our October series, Fangoria, movies that suck. As in, we're doing vampire films. Last week, we did the interview with the... I almost did it. I almost said the interview with a vampire. Interview with the vampire. The week before that, we did... oh, God. Was it Fright Night?
Nope.
What was it?
Not quite.
I don't remember. Lost Boys. And then the week before that, we did Friday Night. So this week we're mixing it up a little bit. It's not just a vampire movie. This is a superhero vampire movie. It's Blade. And for those of you that don't know, Blade is kind of the film that saved superhero movies after, I believe, when was Batman and Robin? Because that was around this time, 94. Right? 97.
Oh, wasn't that late? Holy shit.
So after Batman and Robin came out, famously, people just kind of laughed at superhero movies and said they're terrible. Blade came out, and regardless of what we may say about it right now, because we're reviewing it, 25 years later, at the time, this movie was a big deal. This movie kind of solidified that superhero movies could be taken seriously, and it really set a tone for what would come. I think between this and X-Men, they're really what kind of gave us a resurgence of superhero films. Yep. And this movie is very unlike any other superhero movie you're going to watch. Well, we'll save part of it for later because I'm going to get way too into it too quickly. My name is Seanan. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Good evening. I'm in so much pain. You ever tried to install a toilet by yourself? Don't.
You know that I have not.
Especially if the people that owned the house before you were brain dead MAGA simpletons who didn't know their ass from a flange on the ground. So, with that said, let me introduce my guest for the evening. First off is Double H.
Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
I love that line. That's maybe my favorite line in it. The way he says that. The only thing he says better than that, it's in part 3. Part 3 is it's not a good movie, but there's a part where he's interrogating this guy, and the guy says, but he'll kill me. And Blade goes, motherfucker, I'll kill you. Fucking Wesley Snipes. And
he has a couple of good ones in this one.
And he's known around these parts as the White Snipes. It's Zach Kurgis.
You almost got me. Fuck. The White Snipes.
Is that a band?
That's my... the White Stripes. I was going to say, that's my favorite new Blade cover band.
White Snipes. Zach, do you ever think about, have second thoughts about us?
He's like thinking his skin.
I've seen this movie many, many times, and today was the first time watching it that I ever noticed the lines before they throw her in there where they're like, yeah, he kind of turned into a zombie. Well, sometimes that happens. I've never noticed that line before, and I always thought it was weird that he was a zombie.
Very flippant. Yeah. It's just that sometimes that happens.
Yeah, just sometimes. This vampirism thing, kind of weird. Now, Hunter, you've never seen this, right?
That's correct. This is my first time seeing this movie, which is bizarre. As hard as I leaned into the MCU when it really first was the thing, and I don't make it sound like I don't like it still, but I think amongst us, I'm still one of the people who's fairly invested in what's going on there. I'm usually caught up. As much as I was into these kinds of movies, well, let me rephrase that. Comic book movies in that era, like in the 90s, and then back again when X-Men and Spider-Man kind of bolstered it back up right after this. There's this little gap in my fucking nerd fandom that exists right around this time, because this is 98, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, this is 98. Again, I missed this movie. Famously, I missed The Matrix the year after that. I was never into these underworld movies. Like, I've never seen any single one of those. So for me, black clad leather shooting bullets just was not a thing. I just missed the whole genre. And so then when X-Men came out and they were all wearing that, and everyone was like, this is fucking stupid. I was like, oh, black leather's kind of cool, man. You know, nobody's doing that, right? Like, well,
you know, and I know, when was Matrix? Was that 97, 98? It was somewhere around
99.
99. So Blade,
because it was in that series we did.
Blade really kind of set a tone here, and Wesley Snipes' portrayal as Blade really set a tone. And the big difference for me with this movie versus a movie like The Matrix is, well, one, I hope Kaz doesn't listen to this. One, this movie doesn't try to be fucking smarter than it really is, and doesn't try to be holier than thou. And no offense to Keanu Reeves, because I love Keanu Reeves, but Keanu Reeves as Neo might as well be a sack of potatoes laying on a street somewhere compared to the charismatic Wesley Snipes as Blade, who is both terrifying and hilarious in this movie. But, you know, hey, I won't spoil anything yet. Let's get to the facts, then we'll get to the film proper. Released August 21st, 1998. That would have been 16 when this movie came out. So yeah, black clad, hot women, Blade. Yeah, I was into it.
It just occurred to me how I probably missed this too, because I did not realize. I don't. Something I might start doing on our notes is putting in the ratings. I didn't realize this was rated R.
Oh yeah,
I had no idea. My immediate thought was superhero movie from Marvel, essentially, not literally, but PG-13. They're almost always PG-13. You get a couple of R's here and there. Obviously, Deadpool's a hard R and a couple of others, but I just assumed this was PG-13. Within seconds of this movie, it's fuck this, fuck that, you motherfucker. And I was like, oh, well, they spent the one and then about 6 more real fast, so I guess it's not. Plus, this is what I was getting at originally. This is a rated R movie. It's 1998. You were 16. I was 13.
Yeah.
And I was just starting my 8th grade year of school. So that's probably why I didn't catch this.
It's so unlike, even unlike the R-rated superhero films today, because you can watch like Deadpool, and Deadpool is so snarky, and I like Deadpool, don't get me wrong. I don't like the character, but I like the movies. And they're fun. Yep. But this, I miss superhero movies that felt like this, that they whether I think it's a great movie or not, and I'll explain, just that feeling of it doesn't feel like the other movies. This movie feels very much like its own thing. Like Blade has its own style. I love the music. I love the action is very good. Oh God, I'm getting into my review. I just think it's cool to go back to a time to where there was no MCU. That there were just Marvel films based on these characters, and they did different things with it. It wasn't Kevin fucking Feige, you know, broad stroking every goddamn movie that comes out and saying, well, this has got to be part of the cinematic universe. You know, I'm hoping James Gunn can do something similar over at DC, where he said that not everything has to be part of a cinematic universe and you could just do movies. And I like that. Anyway.
He did a hell of a job with Peacemaker. We just finished season 2, not to go off
on
a tangent
here. I need to watch that.
Very good.
Yeah,
it's very,
that's
very
what I've
good.
Heard. Props to John Cena for, I think, becoming the best actor amongst the wrestlers.
Oh, Dave Bautista.
He's also very good. They're both very good. Light years ahead of The Rock.
They're both very good. John Cena is good in broader strokes of things. Batista's starting to feel like an actor's actor.
Yeah,
he does a lot of really serious shit, a lot of really like heavy, some horror shit.
He did Naked Gun,
psychological stuff.
I don't know if you've seen it.
And then does that. Yeah, I had no idea he was in that.
Yeah,
so he's got a range.
I don't want to spoil it because it's very fun.
They're all better than The Rock,
and almost as good as Hulk Hogan. What was that, Zach?
He also was in Knock at the Cabin.
I haven't watched that yet.
That's what I was talking about.
I haven't watched that
that's
yet.
What I'm talking about.
I've
it's not my favorite movie, but he's very good in it.
He's just a good actor. Anyway, this is not the different.
Yeah.
This is not. This movie's not called Batista. This movie's called Blade.
And he's not in it.
But he would have been a good Blade.
We don't know each other.
Hi. Directed by Stephen Norrington, who also did The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I also enjoyed. It's not a great movie, but I really liked it. I'm going to say
I see it watching this. They have similar styles.
Oh, absolutely.
Knowing that movie, it plays a lot like this movie.
I'll say this now so I don't have to bring it up a million times. The second Blade movie is better than this one. So if you like this one at all, I highly recommend watching Blade 2. It was directed by Guillermo del Toro, and it has Ron Perlman in it. Norman Reedus is in it. Like, it is really good. It's much better than this, and that's saying something because I do like this film, but not to give anything away. Written by David S. Goyer, who did Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Man of Steel, Terminator Dark Fate. This guy did everything. He also did quite possibly the worst horror movie that I've ever seen in theaters. It was called what was it? You know what I'm talking about, Zach.
The Unborn?
The Unborn. I think it was The Unborn. Let me make sure.
So I just looked it up, and that's one of the first thing that comes up with him. Yeah, The Unborn. I don't know this movie.
This is a movie about a Dybbuk.
Oh, hang on. Dybbuk?
Dybbuk. Yeah. This is the first movie I ever heard the term Dybbuk in. I didn't know what a Dybbuk was. And this movie is famous for three things. One is it's about the Dybbuk. Two, Gary Oldman, I guess he owed David S. Goyer money because he's in it. And three...
Oh, God, I guess Idris Elba did, too, because he's also in it.
I don't even remember him in it. The third thing, and I'm going to post it in the text only for babies and then probably delete it.
Remar.
It has
Carla Gugino.
It has the most unfortunate cover for a poster ever of Odette Yusman just in her panties staring into a mirror. That was the poster, and I hated that poster.
Come on.
Like, I like Odette Yusman. I really do. I think she's a great actress. And I remember when I saw that poster and I went, "Oh, come on, man. Come on."
Is this the one where, like, I don't want to say anything in case people actually want to still go see it.
They won't.
I think it's fine.
They won't. It's the one with it's the little
her brother is inside of her.
Yeah, he wants to be reborn.
And he's trying to get out.
Yeah,
but if I'm not mistaken, she like walks backwards and does everything backwards when he takes over.
I don't know. Because
if it's the one, I think
I've watched that movie in theaters.
Not Odette Yusman anymore.
Oh, she's not.
No,
she's dead.
Odette Hannibal. No. No, she. So this movie was made in 2009, literally the year after she married a guy named Dave Annable, and so she's Odette Annable and has been for a long time. You kept saying that name, and I was like, I don't think this is who you think it is, man. But yeah, she just got married.
I'm glad maybe she can get away from being in that fucking film because oh my god, that movie's so bad. Like I remember seeing that film before I saw. I didn't know David S. Goyer wrote this because I always liked Blade, and I saw that, and I didn't realize it was the same guy that wrote the Batman movies because I went, oh, well, I'm surprised. Because I thought that guy was a fucking hack. Because The Unborn, he wrote and directed it, and it's one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. Like I've never walked out of a theater, but I came pretty close on that one. I hate that movie. All right, back to Blade. Back to a good David S. Goyer film starring the iconic Wesley Snipes, who was so good as Blade that they invited. Ryan Reynolds personally invited him back as Blade for Deadpool and Wolverine, and. There's two things I think people really take away from that movie they always remember is Gambit and Blade. And Wesley Snipes didn't miss a fucking step as Blade. It's like he just stepped right back into it.
I mean, the fact that that they joke about it, and it's both funny because it's meta funny in that, only ever going to be one Blade, only ever been one Blade. Knowing the production trouble they've had with the Blade movie, they've been trying to make with, what's his name?
Ali.
Mahershala Ali for so long now. And then, like you said, he's so synonymous with the character at this point. I'm pretty sure was Wesley Snipes' look in this movie based on Blade in the comics, or was it that thing where he looked like this and they just started making the character look like him?
I'm pretty sure it's that. It's like Nick Fury after Sam Jackson took over, and everyone
right,
that's just how Nick Fury looks now. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, in that one, it was the Ultimate Universe. The guy who brought Nick Fury into the Ultimate Universe just happened to base him on Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson noticed, started to sue, and then was like, well, here's the deal. And like, if you ever make movies out of this, just put me in it. And then sure enough, that happened. And so
but
that's
Blade,
how we got him.
But Wesley Snipes' version of Blade pretty much became the version of Blade. You know what I mean? Like every Blade after that looks like him.
Because I'm looking at pictures and I'm not seeing any older versions other than like the 70s Blade, which is pretty drastically different.
I don't think Blade was kind of a rare pick at that time.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this earlier today. I didn't do the full deep dive, but I mean, this is probably beneficial for at least a couple of people because not everybody who listens to this knows all this stuff. So Marvel was in big ass trouble in the 90s.
Right.
Marvel was not doing well as a company. And I'm not talking about movies. I'm talking about as a company in general. Remember, they weren't always owned by Disney.
Right.
Comic books were not selling the way that they used to. Their stories...
That's Blade.
That's out here.
That's Blade.
That's Blade. He's here.
He's here. He's going to get the vampires.
Freaks me out. Anyway, long story short, comic books weren't selling the way that they used to. Marvel had a lot of weird storylines that didn't play out the way they wanted them to, and they were in trouble. So they started optioning off a lot of their properties to a bunch of different movie studios, hoping that somebody would take them, do something, and strike. This is why, for the longest time after the MCU got going, it was hard to get shit together because Fox owned X-Men and Blade.
And Fantastic Four, right?
Yes, and Fantastic Four. Sony owned Spider-Man. Paramount owned Hulk. No, Universal owned Hulk. I think it was Universal.
But they gave him back because they didn't give a shit. They were like, you can keep him. Right.
Paramount was helping. No, it was Universal because Paramount was helping Marvel. When Marvel released Iron Man, they were the original distributor because it was Marvel Studios, but Paramount helped them release that and Captain America. Anyway, point being, they optioned off all their properties in a bunch of different directions, just basically hoping something would stick. And because nobody had any faith in anything working after Batman and Robin, when Fox decided to do Blade, it had nothing to do with let's make a comic book movie. I mean, you notice when you watch this movie, like you said earlier, not only are there no like MCU type ties or whatever, they don't ever even touch on this being comic book related. There's
nor does it feel like a superhero movie in any way.
No, it just feels like a, I mean, Underworld basically just took this methodology and ripped it off and ran with it. But it feels like that kind of movie. Again, black leather, guns and swords, martial arts, underground, everything's techno, everything's flashing lights. It's all kind of against a blue tone. There's a name for whatever that is. And it's like neo martial arts, I guess, basically. But yeah, when they set out to make this was by today's standards, it would be a weird pick. Yes. It would be like saying, we're going to start the MCU. Well, yeah, I mean, that was kind of like that, but they were starting with this. It would be like saying we were going to start the MCU with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
We're going to get it right off the ground with that. Because people think Iron Man was a weird pick for that, but people knew who Iron Man was, even if they didn't really care.
He just wasn't as popular at the time. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Much like Wesley Snipes made Blade a household name, RDJ did the same for Iron Man. Zach, you were going to say something second. What were you going to say? It's been a while. And you're muted.
Well, he's muted.
There we go. I have to sneeze real quick. No, so you guys might remember more than I do, but I think my first time actually coming across Blade was in the Spider-Man the Animated Series, and I feel like Wesley Snipes is more like that Blade, but I don't know when he aired. I know the episode was like season 2, so I feel like that might have been before this movie. So maybe
I think so.
Kind of basing it off of that one.
Funny enough,
so,
that TV show is where I first heard Morbius.
But Felicia,
Karen.
I'm looking at him right now, and that Blade is basically a complete mixture between the 70s one and the one that Wesley Snipes plays. So the facial, he looks more like
first, or
Yeah, I don't know if I can find a specific.
Send a picture of that to text. I'd like to see that. I'll keep the starring thing going because we got to Wesley Snipes and then dead stop because he's so good. Stephen Dorff, who I didn't really appreciate as Deacon Frost in this movie. Oh yeah, I completely see it. Yeah,
yep,
that's definitely like a combo. I don't like the spikes in the shoulders. Yeah. I don't like that.
No.
Anyway, I didn't.
Cool. He shows up riding his motorcycle, chasing after Felicia. So.
I didn't like Stephen Dorff the first time I watched these movies because I thought, man, he's just like this little like fucking prissy prick. Blade should fight a big man with muscles and like bigger muscles on those. And then rewatching it today, I was realized, well, that's kind of the point. He's the bratty prince. He's the one the other vampires hate.
Here comes some controversial takes from a first time viewer. Stephen Dorff is the best thing about this whole fucking movie.
I agree. Well, no, I don't agree. Yeah. No, I don't agree. I still think Wesley Snipes is the best part of it, but him and Stephen Dorff are together. They're a good pair.
Combo.
It's a good combo.
But yeah. I would, again, controversial take. I would rather watch Stephen Dorff. Like, I would rather watch his scenes than Blade scenes most of the time. He's fun. He's just fucking fun to watch, man.
Well, if you're going to say that, let me skip ahead a person. You got to throw Donal. Is it Donal or Donal?
Donal Logue.
Donal Logue's got to be in the discussion, too, because he's also a lot of fucking fun in this movie.
But he's also good in every fucking thing he's in.
He is.
Have you ever seen the sitcom that he did?
Yes. I actually have. I don't remember the name of it.
It's so good. Sarah used to love this show. Grounded for Life. Yeah, that's the one. God, it was a good show.
He's super talented. He is super talented. And I loved him. I've always loved him in this movie. I'm going to be what does he say? I'm going to be a naughty vampire blood god.
He was one of the best things about, I never really loved that Gotham show that they tried to get off the ground, or, well, I shouldn't say tried. It ran for 5 years, and apparently it was a big deal. Yeah. But it was such a CW. Yeah, well, it was a real CW kind of, adaptation. Anyway, he was so good as Bullock in there. He's such a good pick for Harvey Bullock. Like, that's what you want, is just this fucking sneaky, slimy fucking cop. It's great.
He also plays King Hork on the Vikings TV show that they did.
I've never seen that, but I've heard it's good.
Is he still Donal Logue in it? Like, is he still slimy?
Yeah.
He's so good at that.
But he's the king of the Vikings.
Hey, so, here's...
when people get in his way, he does that sneaky stuff, and he gets a hand back.
I like when he tells him, "Put out your arm." What? I just got these back, man. I just
got it back. He's fucking with me.
He's fucking with me.
I can't decide which one of them to beat you up with.
And then he dies immediately, and Blade takes his glasses back. Yeah.
God.
Here's anher. I don't know if this is a hot take, because I really liked him in this movie. Chris Christopherson. I love him as Whistler. I loved every scene he was in. Spoiler alert: his story ain't over, despite what you saw in this movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he's in Blade too.
He is. He's one of those guys that we were talking earlier about. You're watching a movie and going, "How the fuck did they end up in here?" That was this.
Yes.
Like, nothing against this movie or anything, but as a singer, I was like, "How the fuck did they?" Oh yeah, he was a huge country singer.
I thought he was one of the Highwaymen with Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and the Redheaded Stranger.
He did a lot of.
This is fucking man.
Yeah. I can't think of it.
Zach, you know him. He smokes weed all the time. Willie Delson.
Christopherson also did a ton of songwriting for other people too. Yeah, man, he's one of those guys who, when you see him show up in something, it's a big fucking deal. And I remember I had done these notes a long time ago. Yeah, so he shows up here, and I was like, oh shit, that's fucking Chris Christopherson.
Also, we don't have it on the list, but I want to say it because I love this dude. I love it when he's in movies. Udo Kier is in this. He's the head vampire that they put out in the sun and let him burn, which I thought was probably the best death in the movie too. He's just a great actor. I like him a lot. And strangely enough, in Bush Wright plays Karen. She's fine.
Yes.
Sanaa Lathan is in this movie.
She's there.
Yeah, she's there. Sanaa Lathan is Blade's mother. She's there. And
for a little bit.
And funny enough, this is the first time I ever heard the name Tracy Lords.
I knew that's where this was going.
Oh, yeah. She's in the very beginning of the film, and I didn't know who Tracy Lords was. And then I fell down the rabbit hole and went, holy shit, we're not going to talk about it. But if you've ever... look up the Wikipedia for Tracy Lords. Do not Google her, because you may get the FBI coming to your door. But it's a fascinating story. All right. Runtime of 120 minutes. Budget, which is long for a horror movie.
A little long, and it feels it sometimes. There were definitely times where I thought, boy, you could have cut some of this down big time.
Yes. Budget versus box office, $45 million versus $131 million. Critical reception, 59% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 6 out of 10. 47 out of 100 on Metacritic, which is mixed or average. A cinema score of A-. Well, there's finally something. On an A to F scale, and 3 out of 4 stars from Roger Ebert, who said, this is a movie that relishes high visual style. It uses the extreme camera angles, the bizarre costumes and sets. He didn't like black leather, apparently. The exaggerated shadows, the confident cutting between long shots and extreme close-ups. It slams slams the head in pure visceral imagery, and it does. It is a very visually striking film, especially for that time period.
Stylistic.
There wasn't a lot of things like this. So what's Blade about? Well, 30 minutes into the show, I'll tell you. Basically, Blade is a half human, half vampire who has all of their strengths and none of their weaknesses, and is waging a one-man war against vampires in search of the one that turned his mother, who, as we find out later, turns out to be Deacon Frost, which is a cool name by itself. By the way, Deacon Frost in the comics, completely different from Deacon Frost in this movie. Right. Not even in the same ballpark.
And found that was the case.
He's the one that still turned Blade's mom, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but he's like is he like an older white guy in that one? He's like prim and proper.
They just made this one, you know, they just went with the Deacon Frost. He's younger. He thinks he's hot shit. So now it'll make more sense when he's trying to take over.
I'll say it now. Oh, that's pretty much the plot. They fight. They bite, they fight, they bite, fight.
When this movie was over, I was like, man, that was the best episode of MP and Champy I've ever seen.
I think my least favorite part of this movie, I'll say it out because I really do like this movie, and rewatching it today, I remember how much I liked it. It's definitely not a perfect film, but it was pretty revolutionary for its time, and I still found joy in it. But the one thing that I thought, boy, this is unfortunate. The fucking special effects. Some of them were decent. Some of them were decent. Whenever they would get like the tumors and explode because of the vials, that actually looked pretty good. Udo Kier's death looked pretty good. But then when he's staking people and shooting them and they turn to dust, boy, it made Buffy the Vampire Slayer look like a fucking $50 billion Steven Spielberg project.
I don't know who thought it was a good idea to have that long extended shot of those winged skeletons flying through.
What was that?
Boy. I think I had that on my Windows screensaver back in 1999.
I thought, wait, so are the vampires the skeletons and they're tearing out of the other skeletons, or what's
the
happening?
bones were their money.
Oh my god! Well,
it was weird. It's a weird sequence.
That whole
also late 90s special effects, real quick. Do not like liquid. Every time that blood was involved, it's terrible. Bad.
Especially the final fight when he gets cut in half and then he re-bloods. Yeah. Oh god. Also, I'll critique this briefly only because this was the 90s. So back then, this wasn't the norm. But boy, do I get so tired of every superhero film being, we got to stop the end of the world. Something. There's a prophecy.
Yeah. For just a second, did Deacon Frost ever explain what exactly his goal is?
Yes.
Like what? Okay, he wants to cause the vampire apocalypse. I get that.
He wants to be victorious.
But what happens then? What happens to...
So, I'm pretty sure his whole weird thing is he wants to get rid of the humans, but he also is tired of being treated like a low-class vampire because he's not a pureblood.
Yeah.
Right, and I understand.
Right.
I understood his motivation.
Everyone or kill everyone, then everyone's a vampire. So
he says, it won't matter who's lowborn or whatever. But my question was, and Hunter might be thinking of the same question, is if you eliminate all the humans, where you get your fucking blood from?
Right. I was going to say, at no point in time did I understand how his plan was supposed to work. Because in the same breath that he says this about, I by the way, I love the idea of we have classism in vampires. That's a whole Vampire Masquerade thing I'm learning about right now, by the way, which is fucking amazing. But that's a big thing for them. So his whole thing is, I'm essentially lowborn. I was turned. I wasn't born a vampire. I want to eliminate it. Because that's a good fucking antagonist motivation. That's what you want from an antagonist, is some shit that makes sense. It's not just sensible, it's also realistic.
Right.
Like, he's not really a bad guy in that sense. He's having to deal with classism. He's being held down by people who think they're better than him because of the way they were born. That's just fucking racism, bro.
Yep.
Like, that's great. That's a great motivation. But like you said, when you put even 3 seconds of thought into it, it makes no sense. If you turn everyone into a vampire, who the fuck are you going to eat? In the same breath he says, let's all be vampires, he also literally says, we shouldn't be treating these people like equals. They're our food.
Right. But then they will be your equal.
Right.
You know, there's
the plan?
There's a little film, and I'll tell you, can I tell you why that is that way? I'll tell you why. It's because David Goyer's a fucking hack. Like, seriously, the dude, if he had never done Dark Knight, no one would give him fucking respect. Batman Begins was good. I like Batman Begins.
I don't think he did do Dark Knight, did he?
I'm pretty sure. Let me look that up real quick before I run my mouth.
I was gonna say, because I put Batman Begins on there, and typically I would have just put Dark Knight because story, that's obviously
so screenplay by the Nolans, but story by David S. Goyer. So he did do the story.
Okay. Well, so what that means is probably that
he came up with the idea.
They continued the story from Batman Begins, and they had to give him a story credit.
Well, so all he did was Batman Begins. Well, I mean, that's still a good one. I actually like Batman Begins better, but
he got story and writing credit for Batman Begins. But then if he got story credit on Dark Knight, that almost definitely means, well, we continued his story, ergo we have to, because that's the same thing as like based on characters by or based on a screenplay by or whatever.
Well, good.
So,
that just gives more legitimacy to my argument that he's a hack. Like David Goyer,
he did write Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Oh my god! And he did The Unborn, which is the worst horror movie I've ever seen in theaters. It's just that he's not a good writer. Like, this movie has it has flashes of not brilliance, but it has flashes of good. Like the class system. Yeah. That's a good plot point. Blade himself has a good backstory. Like, there are good points in it. But my god, one of the dumbest major villain plans I've ever heard in a film. We vampires require humans to eat so we can survive. Now let's turn them all into vampires. Okay, then how do we survive? If 5 minutes later he just goes, shit.
He won't turn all of them. The rest of them you just put in a farm.
I don't think he has a choice. The blood god
that was the whole thing. The whole Lamagra was like everyone's okay.
No, hold on.
Hang on.
Hold on.
She didn't. The girl didn't become a vampire.
Well, no one did.
She was in the present.
But hang on.
Well, I mean, everyone in the chamber was a vampire minus her. She's the only one. So
this is important trivia. This is a good time.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is a good time for this. We've done this a couple of times this month where there's like bizarre alternate endings to movies, and this is one that had one of those. At the time that this movie came out, producers were so sure it was going to get a sequel that one original ending involved Frost actually becoming Lamagra and unleashing the blood tide, which then washed over the city and turned everyone it touched into vampires, which essentially caused the vampire apocalypse. The sequel to that ending would have then had Blade and Karen traveling around, destroying vampire food storage areas, whatever that means. And then obviously, eventually, the plans changed. They changed the sequel. They got a sequel, but it was a different kind. So food, is it like blood banks? Is that what it is? That they just tap enough stuff early on? Or
have you ever seen
they have breeding camps? See what?
It's called Shannon.
Daybreakers?
If I'm wrong. Yeah,
I was just about to bring that movie up. Yep.
The one with Ethan Hawke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, unfortunately I have. God, it's terrible.
So I feel like the food banks would be like how they had their food banks.
Hold on. I need to talk to Hunter for a second.
It's bad. It's real bad. I remember seeing it in the theater, and it's bad.
I also saw it in theater, and I can't tell you a single thing that happened in it.
I honestly don't remember specific
but I
scenes. What I do remember is Sarah and I were really excited to go see this movie.
I'm going to message you for the reason.
We were really excited to go see this movie. She had really been like, this looks really good. I want to go see it. And we were in it, and half an hour into it, she looked at me and she goes, I am so sorry. I remember that definitively. Because Sam Neill was in it. Ethan Hawke is in it. We were like, this is going to be great.
Oh, I'm typing you.
It was not. Oh, I'm looking. I'm watching. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the whole Lamagra thing, I mean, I guess, they could have like some human breeding camps or something where they just keep breeding people to drain,
animals.
or they use blood banks or animals. Yeah, I see it.
That's what they had. That's what I would think of, if not like, if there was a chance that not everyone got turned, this is what would happen to the humans that were left.
I think it would have been cool if in this movie, if someone had called him out on it and said, "What do you think is going to happen if you turn everyone into vampires? You little twit, we're going to die." And he would have said, "I don't care. Fuck these people." Like,
or
I'll be the blood god.
fucking plan. If he had just said, like reveal that he has, because he's got all these facilities and shit that he's working in, and he wants to prove that he's capable. Everyone keeps saying you're just a snot-nosed little prick who keeps doing stuff that's fucking things up. You're drawing too much attention to us. Then go, oh yeah, I'm distracting people with this random, blood club over here. Look what else I've been doing, and he's literally got a breeding camp. He's literally got a draining facility.
He's also the only person. He's also the only person that apparently could decipher the prophecy with his computer. And
boy, they spent a lot of money on that special effect because they just kept showing it to us.
I said, wait till you see Pearl. Oh, God. Fucking Pearl. What a strange creature to be in that film. Like, out of nowhere, left field.
Really explain what was happening there. Like, it's a cool look, and I like that it was unique and distinctive, but like, why?
Yeah.
Why does Pearl look like that?
Well, just a fat vampire.
Maybe I will tell you this. Apparently, he played Spanky's dad in the Little Rascals series from '93.
I always thought it was a woman, and it was named Pearl, but they kept saying boy, and it's played by a guy, so that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole scenario was weird. It was a fun scene in just the whole, he made a move, or that, you answer the right questions, right? You walk out of here without a tan. That whole thing, that stuff was fun. But I just watched the whole thing, going, what is happening? So who is this creature? Why are they like this?
This is why I say watch Blade 2, because Blade 2 has a much better story that makes sense. Okay. This movie, and again, I do like this movie. I know I'm spoiling a little bit. I do like this movie, but like the ending and his and Deacon's motivation beyond wanting to be better than everybody else because he's lowborn never made sense to me. Even when I was a kid watching it, I literally went, well, okay, so is he La Magra? Or like, did everyone turn into a vampire? He said that everyone would become a vampire, but all he did was become super strong. What is it?
Well, there was also a little bit of, as much as I love Deacon Frost as a character, I think he and Stephen Dorff just in general as him,
he's great.
It's a lot of fun to watch. There were also a lot of like little stupid things that kind of go with that. So he locks Blade in this little action figure chamber so he can drain his blood, right? The little, blister pack, the little, he does that. And then apparently just goes, well, no one will come in here and do anything about this, and just fucks off with his entire squad of
Hunter.
You couldn't leave one guy.
Well, he tossed the girl down to the doctor. She couldn't escape.
Right. Yeah, there's no way. It's just that classic supervillain thing of just playing with your food. Like, to
be fair, that kind of fits his character. His arrogance.
Sure. I can't fault them for playing on a fucking 100 years old trope.
Right.
But it just was a little bit like, and by the way, Karen is immediately the most capable woman you've ever met.
Yes, which is why they dropped her from the sequel immediately. She's nowhere near it. She's nowhere near it. Yeah.
At any given point in time, she's a day away from turning. She figures out completely how to fix vampirism. She drags herself out of a pit after getting into a fist fight with a demon zombie vampire thing.
He's still alive, by the way. He never died.
Yeah.
He's out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
He couldn't get out before. He just stuck it down there.
He'll figure it out eventually. Give us some time.
I wish there had been a post-credit scene where it's just him going, Karen!
He's just down there calling for us. Okay. I love that in this film.
Maybe we can talk it out over Thai food.
This film is one of my favorite things where all of the bad guys fight Blade, usually one-on-one, sometimes two-on-one, but then they go, I could beat him. My turn. I got this.
Please. Again, I can't really be too mad about, literally.
It was the 90s.
Of cinematic tropes, especially fucking kung fu fighting. But I'm begging you to go back and watch some of those fight scenes and watch the next guy in line to fight.
He's standing there.
Especially in the final sequence, because they're in that weird little circular chamber that has like the places to come up in each direction. They're literally in line. You can watch the guy behind the guy Blade's fighting, and this is every one of them. This is no good for the listener, but for you guys, this is every one of them.
he's doing that Mortal Kombat stance. He's going through the 4 frames of animation. Like
he's like rocking back and forth. He's ready to fight, but like he looks like he's already shadowboxing Blade, and you can almost see him rehearsing his moves. Like, all right, fuck, when he okay, he's gonna throw that kick. I gotta do this, and I gotta do that, and then I'm gonna catch this, but then he's gonna throw me, and then I'm gonna die.
And he knows he can't fuck up either because Wesley Snipes will beat that ass.
He'll just beat the shit out of him for real.
Yeah, Steven Seagal style with the stuntman on set.
Man,
this movie, like, I don't want to say this movie falls apart.
Reminded me of a Steven Seagal movie a lot, actually.
Well, except the main actor, is talented and
but they hamstringed him on that a lot too. Though there were so many times where he has to be so like stoic and dead set that I was like, God, I can feel Wesley Snipes just wanting to break out of this fucking character.
Yeah, well, but again, you can't fault it too much because this was an iconic role. This set a pace for a lot. I like the weapons. I liked everything about Blade. Like Blade himself. The sword was badass. Oh my god, the sword was so iconic. We had a friend back in the day, me and you fucking idiot. Me and Bob and Chad had a friend named, and Kaz, I think Kaz knew him, had a friend named Toby. And Toby made his own blade sword, where he took a sword and he glued other knives to the handle, like when it comes out and cuts people. Yeah. And we used to make fun of his ass all the time for his blade. He called it his blade sword. Like, that's how iconic the blade sword was. Well, I'll save it for my review because I got thoughts. Okay. Not surprising. Well, no, that's in the end. Hey, Marvel Films' famous Stan Lee cameos almost began with this film. Lee originally played one of the cops that came to the Blood Club during the aftermath and discovered Quinn's body on fire. The scene was unfortunately cut in post-production. That's probably for the best. He's been too old to be a cop. The old beat cop.
Well, I am in 2025. I'm of mixed thoughts about Stan Lee. I've read a lot about him in the aftermath and how much stuff he took credit for that he shouldn't have, and it's really frustrating because God, you want to love the guy eternally, he just wanted to be an entertainer, and it's like, but he wanted it so bad he took other people's shit to do it sometimes. So.
And then there's also the horrible way he died, being kind of abused by his caretakers and taken advantage of. Like, it's a horrible story. Anyway, let's get to those reviews. For Blade. Also, this soundtrack was very good. I had it at one point. Busy Bone had a song on the soundtrack called, I think, Blade for Glory. It's a terrible song, but I was so into Bone Thugs and Harmony at the time. I was like, this is great.
This is amazing.
This is awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with this song. Now, on this particular show, we do a 5-point system when we grade films. 5 thumbs up means you're gonna marry this fucking movie. 2 thumbs up means you love it. 1 up, you like it. 1 up, 1 down, you're neutral or indifferent. It has different meanings for different people. 1 down, you don't like it. And 2 down, you hate it. Recently, I think it's still Mortal Kombat Annihilation that had 2 thumbs down. And what is the last double thumbs?
Did we both double thumb Demon Knight?
Demon Knight, yes, that's right. Because you said it before we aired the one. We recorded that before we recorded Interview with the Vampire, but aired it after. So there was kind of a little mistake.
And you were like, well, hang on.
Yeah, fucking Zach, you've seen Demon Knight, right?
No.
Oh, sweet baby.
Really should. It's very good.
Get this man some Tales from the Crypt. But while we do that, let's go to Zach for his review first. Zach, what do you think of Blade for Glory? And I remember because the song goes like Blade. Bum, 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 bum. That's how it goes.
No, I would, from a critical standpoint, I don't think I can rightfully give it 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed this movie, though. I agree with you, though. I think the second movie is a little better, especially because it's got a little bit bigger cast, and I feel like Blade's less as wound up.
Yeah,
I feel like he was given like very strict regulations, kind of like how Hunter was saying. You could tell he wanted to break out in certain points. But I really like this movie especially for like a Marvel movie. It's really different. It's really fun though in its own way, but it does have its faults. And one thing I never understood is like, from what I gathered, pure bloods are supposed to be stronger than half bloods. So like, why didn't one of those guys at that table just smack Deacon and actually smack him? Like, I feel like the guy smacks him in the library, and it was like when a dad is mad, and he's just like, meh. But, like, you're supposed to be stronger than him, and you're scared of him, right? He's doing these things you don't like. He's breaking your rules. Do something. Why are we just
they never really
talking?
No. There's no retaliation. They just get angry at him.
Like, and I have seen Underworld, and if this was the Underworld series, you would have been hurt. Like, in that world, they show you the different hierarchy and stuff.
At least in this film, I didn't realize. Rewatching it today, I remember one of the first things I thought was like, hold on. So vampires are eternal, everywhere. But like this vampire was born a vampire and he's turned. I don't understand how this works. So I had to look it up on the wiki, and apparently this is fact. I don't know. I don't think they ever say it in the film, but apparently if you are born a vampire, you're getting this protein.
Got his protein.
By the way, you can catch.
I wasn't gonna say it, but okay.
You can catch Protein Man Frank Matsuda this Saturday going 1-on-1 with Ghost Warrior Jolan at Feezy 85.
He's gonna reach for the win.
Reach for the win.
For real.
So, if you're a pureblood vampire, you are born a vampire and you age, but you age incredibly slowly. Like, it takes thousands of years for you to kind of get older and die. But they do die eventually. No vampires are immortal. They're just long lasting.
In this universe.
And if you're bitten and you're turned into a vampire, you stay the same age, but you look the same as you do whenever you were turned.
You turn.
But you will eventually like decay and die over time, which to me, as stupid as this sounds, kind of it made the Deadpool and Wolverine movie a little bit better for me, and made me go, you can absolutely do Blade with Wesley Snipes again, because he ages. So he can age.
And Wessler talks about how he ages just like a human.
Right. Because he's somewhere in the middle. He's somewhere between human and vampire. So yeah, you could absolutely do Wesley Snipes again.
And it was perfect that he showed up, and when he did show up, he had the gray in it and stuff like that, because, I mean, he is an older Blade.
Right. Anyway, back to your review. I just wanted to mention that.
I was just going to say, that's one of, like, the main things that has always bothered me. Even as a kid, I was just always like, well, if they're stronger, why aren't they doing something about it? Like,
I think it's their arrogance,
I think we just need to see... We just need to see them do something. For so much of the movie, they don't really do
other
anything.
Than they're suck just and die, kind of, literally.
Yeah, right, they're this non-threat. Yeah.
And I think I agree that the second one is better than the first one.
Much better.
And there's a lot more interesting things, is all I'll say.
Better graphics.
But yeah, no, I give it a 1 thumb up for sure. I can't critically say it's, a 2 thumbs up just because it isn't a perfect movie. Now, if we were going based off of my rewatchability of it, then it's a 2 thumbs up, because I'll watch this movie because I love it. It's a good Blade movie, and at the current moment, this is the only Blade we have.
It's the only Blade there ever will be. I've heard. Oh, with Sticky Fingers?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, they couldn't get Wesley Snipes, but they continued the story with Sticky Fingers as Blade.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. So. Let that sink in. Well, Zach, I'm also going to give this 1 thumb up. Now, I'll say this. I almost feel like I have to review this film from the perspective of what the world was like in 1998, especially when it came to both action movies and comic book films, and then review it as someone watching that now. Because if I were to review it then, I probably would have given it 2 thumbs up. Because yeah, the graphics are dated, but not at the time. The story is kind of, falls apart at the end. But for the time, that was the standard. Like that, there's a prophecy and this and that. So at the time this movie came out, I think this was a 2 thumbs up movie, or at least very close to it. But looking at it from a 2025 perspective, I can't in good conscience give it 2 thumbs up. There are parts of this film that I really do like. Hunter talked about it earlier, and I'm sure he's going to touch on it again. The class system with Deacon Frost is incredibly interesting. Wesley Snipes as Blade himself is iconic. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. I mean, you see Blade and you go, that's Wesley Snipes. He'll always be Wesley Snipes. That's how good he was as the character. The look, and it doesn't hurt that Wesley Snipes is a fantastic martial artist. You could tell he was doing his own fight scenes as opposed to like, Steven Dorff. Every time he would jump or flip and then turn back into like him, Steven Dorff, I was like, well, that's obviously a stunt double. So that kind of helped with the mystique of Blade. The story is good to a point. Up until they bring in this goddamn Lamagra blood god, I really liked the idea of two parallel stories of a vampire who wants to be seen as equal, but is a little bitch in just plain terms. Like, not only is he weaker and he is a half-blood, but he is also just a bratty little bitch. He's like Lestat minus the class, you know?
Right.
And the alternate story of a guy who is so focused on his mission of killing vampires that he's, I think you could have made it a more intimate story. Cut out the whole blood god bullshit. Just do, they kind of did it later on with Dark Knight, where I know I brought Dark Knight up many times here because I thought it was written by David S. Goyer, but I was wrong. Which good. That's better. He's a hack. But when Joker turns the criminal world on its head and basically overthrows everybody, you could have done a similar thing with Deacon Frost in this. He doesn't have to summon the blood god and turn everyone into vampires. He could have just done a coup to take over the vampire ranks, basically. And that is Blade's incentive to go after him and get revenge. You don't need they're going to turn everyone into vampires. It's the vampire apocalypse. But again, seeing it from a 2025 perspective, that's easy to say. But in 1998, it was kind of fresh. It wasn't done to death in every superhero movie because not every superhero, there weren't a lot of superhero movies. You had the Batman films, which were never really world threatening. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe Mr. Freeze was the closest they got with that. Maybe the Riddler.
Yeah, but even then they never said the world. Well, he might have said, after Gotham, then the world, but it was always, I'm going to do this to Gotham. I'm going to do these things to Gotham.
Yeah. So a bad guy in a comic book film, especially looking to destroy the entire world and turn everybody vampires, I mean, that was kind of fresh. But unfortunately...
Other than Superman, and Superman would have stopped doing that in, the 80s, I guess?
Yeah, the mid-80s, before Batman. Because I think Batman came out after Superman, and then they never did in the Superman film.
Definitely.
So it was fresh then, but unfortunately, that plot just doesn't hold up because there's too many plot holes, too many questions in it. But with that said, I still enjoyed the film. I love Wesley Snipes in this movie. I love Chris Christopherson. I love Stephen Dorff as Deacon Frost. I love Donal Logue. I mean, it's got a good cast. Everybody looks like they're having a great time. The story, to a point, 3/4 of the story is great. 1/4 of the story is trash. But that fourth didn't take away my enjoyment too much. So I kind of agree with Zach. If I reviewed this in 1998, if we were doing this show with that mindset, I would have given this 2 thumbs up. I would have said, or at least close to it, I would have said a lot of what Roger Ebert said, as we often do. But seeing it from 2025 and being someone that has written, that has studied, that has done, a lot of creative stuff, there's too many plot holes, and there are too many, you were going for something, you just didn't nail it. You just didn't nail the landing. So with that said, I'm giving it 1 thumb up. And to me, this is right now it's a true 1 thumb because I didn't like it so much that I can give it a 1+, but I didn't dislike it so much I give it a 1 negative. So it's a true thumb. And your mileage may vary. And I'm curious to see how Hunter's mileage goes. So I'm gonna throw it over to him. I think I know, but I'm curious.
My mileage very much did vary, and I'm going to go 1 up, 1 down on this. I'm giving a lot of those out this month. I assume as much. I've kind of tipped my hand.
Demon Knight.
Not Demon Knight. That's for sure. I fucking love Demon Knight.
Hold down.
Demon Knight was a lot of fun. I still need to get Sarah to watch that. You bunch of them there. All you had to do. Anyway, no, I can't get into that. So I unfortunately cannot review this movie as this is what I thought of it in 1998 or whatever, because I didn't see it then. I can tell you what I was like then, and I could try to do that, but for me, that would be disingenuous. It would be the other way around to try to go, this is what I would have felt like at the time that I watched it. I'm watching this movie now. I'm trying to make a recommendation on whether or not somebody should watch it right now. And I think your mileage may vary as a really good indicator of how this is going to go, not just for me, but for people in general. If you rewatch this movie, I don't think there are going to be a lot of people who saw it then and rewatch it now and dislike it. I think we're getting a good microcosm of that right now here. But I don't think it's going to draw anybody in because we've done so much story-wise, special effects-wise, and just superhero movie-wise since then. Now, again, this doesn't really feel like a superhero movie in the sense of the character and what's going on. Well, let me rephrase that. In the sense of the characters, but in what's going on, it absolutely does, because you've nailed it a couple of times here. This whole, we got to stop you're the one, Blade, you're the only one who can do it, and the whole world is at risk.
You, brother.
That's superhero shit, right? That's how it is. They literally say you're the one. Whistler tells him you're like the one at one point. You're the chosen one. That's the whole thing. And look, again, nothing against tropes. Tropes exist for a reason. They're long-running storytelling concepts that can be used to great effect. And I'm not saying that they're necessarily bad here. I'm just saying we're not breaking a lot of new ground. I was, if I'm being perfectly honest, I was bored through a decent amount of this movie. There were a lot of times where I went, okay, I see exactly where this is going. I know what we're doing. I don't feel like I need to pay attention to this. You guys wore me the fuck out on karate in June with June Wick. So I've got very little patience for 20 minutes of people fighting each other.
Hey, at least in this film, again, give it credit and also condemn John Wick that the moment someone pulls a gun in public, everyone scatters and screams, as opposed to John Wick where they keep dancing.
Well,
I will never
except
understand
when
that.
he does it in the park, and when he shoots in the park, and then he jumps across the street and saves a little kid, and no one seems to notice any of that happening.
That was 30 seconds after he shot. God damn, what do you want them to do? Keep records? Lord.
I will say, because of that, whenever in the beginning at the blood rave, when the main guy that we've been following since the beginning of the movie, the moment he sees the blood and he touches it, and you can see in his face the concern. The first thought in my head, I was like, well, at least this guy, has some concern. Other people are just sitting there hanging out.
Because they're all vampires.
But give me just a split second here since you brought it up. There's not much more I fucking hate than the trope of this is red viscous liquid that came from a place it shouldn't. You know how I should figure out what it is? I'll taste it.
That's a good idea.
What are we doing?
Well, they didn't have AIDS in the 90s. They were fixed.
I was going to say, this is a great move because I always wanted to get hepatitis. What are you doing? Get it out of your fucking mouth. I get that a second later he's not going to be able to because it's everywhere, but how is this going to help you discern? Also, blood doesn't taste all that different than it smells. If it's spewing out of the fucking sprinkler system, you smell the copper. We don't need to.
I've licked blood before, and I didn't immediately go well, that's distinct. I could tell immediately. This is vampiric activity.
Look, this is where yours was a true thumb. Mine is going to be a true middle ground on this because there are definitely some things I liked and there are definitely some things I didn't. I think I've made it pretty clear at this point what I didn't like. I think a lot of the story is a little bit hackneyed. Thanks, David Goyer. I think it moves at a weird pace, which was strange for me. 2 hours is way too long for a movie like this. Yeah. We don't have anywhere near the need to set up. This should have been a 90-minute movie. I think there's 30 minutes of movie you could cut out here. And a lot of it would have to do with, again, Deacon Frost doesn't have to be trying to end the fucking world. There's a much better movie, which I'm going to pitch in my epilogue, and I'll get there. I've already been working through it. It's not fair because I'm not doing a sequel. I'm doing a rewrite of this movie first.
That's fine.
That's what I'm doing. It's happening. That said, there are times that I really do like Wesley Snipes in this movie, mostly when he's breaking out of that real super intense stoic stuff. I like some of that, the full Terminator, but I like when we get to see him do something other than that because he's such a good fucking actor. Yeah. I mean, if you've ever seen To Wong Fu, come on, man. He's so good. But so there were times where I was just I get that that's the character. I know that that's what we're going for. And sometimes it works. But there were also times where there were long stretches of just that. And I'm like, I can't do the Steven Seagal just fucking one-liner, let's get out of here type stuff. It's just so generic and it's boring.
If I could jump in just for a second, that's my problem with the third movie is it feels like they took the fun away from Blade and they tried to make him more of that. But
because the third movie has Ryan Reynolds, right? So
yes,
he gets all the fun.
And I was about to two things I was about to say. Thank you for bringing that up because the first thing is I think in this film his stoic nature makes it a little bit more iconic whenever he does kind of break character and say something funny or say a fun line. Because unlike Steven Seagal, when he says something fun, it is fun. When Steven Seagal does it, it's deadpan, fucking no talent. I'm full of my own, fucking self. And for Wesley Snipes, he's embodying the character. Steven Seagal just embodies Steven Seagal. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. Like I said a minute ago, I love Wesley Snipes, and I don't think he's the problem. No. I think the writing is the problem.
100%.
And I don't need a fucking joke every 5 seconds.
No, right? That's
Again,
Deadpool.
Noted fan of the I was going to say noted fan of the MCU. I know that's how they do things. That's not what I'm looking for here. I'm not saying I need that.
Right.
I just want him to be able to be himself a little more and not just constantly that thing. I think Chris Christopherson is fortunately very well used, so that's a big positive on its side. I think the women in this movie are criminally underused or criminally miscast. I can't tell which one, but like you said earlier, they sure are there, and there's not much else to talk about when it's.
Actually, there is one other we didn't mention because I always thought she was a standout character. His right hand woman, her name was I didn't know she had a name. Her name is Mercury, and I thought she was actually the most interesting woman in the movie because at least she had character.
Yeah, but
except that last
the bar
line
is in hell, man. Yeah,
but that last line where she goes, "I'm really going to enjoy this now," is the cringiest line of the film.
It's
I think
so weird.
Yeah,
it's weirdly paced and cadenced. I don't know what's happening there. Yeah, it feels like nothing against the women who played the female characters in this movie, but maybe we should have thrown a couple more dollars at casting on that direction. And because you notice that the 4 people I mentioned up here, the expensive ones, were all dudes: Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff, Chris Christopherson. I'm sure that at least a couple of those people were not inexpensive.
No. Tim Guinea was probably the cheapest one.
Right. I think ultimately there are things to like about this movie. Stephen Dorff, I said it at the beginning, is my favorite thing about this movie. I would watch his scenes over and over, but I really just don't have any interest in watching this movie again. I've seen it. I get what's happening. It ends on a note that let me give it this credit. It ends on a note that makes me want to see more, and I'm absolutely going to watch 2 and 3 just so I have them all there. Right. I've been wanting to for a long time now, and you said numerous times I wish we were doing 2 because I think you would like 2 more for this movie, but we got to take them in order for this month.
Right.
But we got to take them in order. I am still interested enough that I want to see the other 2. That said, I really don't have any interest in watching this movie again. I think if you've seen it before, you're probably going to get exactly what you used to get out of it, a nice little nostalgia boost nowadays. If you haven't seen it before, you might just have to put your head down and get through it to get to what's coming afterward, because there's stuff that's good, there's stuff that's not good, and you're probably going to be bored at least a couple times.
I think you should definitely watch the first half of the film, because the first half of the film I think is far superior to the back half.
I'll give you that too. Yes, I was far more. That's actually a good point. I was far more interested in the first half of this movie than I was in the second half, and I actually had to watch it in halves. I watched the first half earlier today. I had to pick it up at the halfway point this evening, and I was much less interested in the second half. By the time that it's just let's go get Frost,
at that point,
it's not as interesting.
At that point, the only thing that really kept, because I still, again, I like the movie. I'm saying it by one thumb up, but towards the end, the only thing that kept me super entertained now, as opposed to then, because back then it was, I want to see Wesley Snipes kill the vampires and he big in muscles.
Yeah.
But now it was the interactions with
he big and muscles.
He big in muscles. It was the interactions with Stephen Dorff and Donal Logue. They're just so much fun to see together at the end.
I'm so glad you mentioned it, because I was going to say I have nowhere else to put this in there, but before I leave my review completely away, I do want to mention probably my favorite scene in the whole fucking movie is when they're waiting on Blade to show up, and Quinn's just going, I don't think you understand, man. Like, he's bad. He had like 20 guys.
20 guys.
He throws shit at you.
Yeah,
and Deacon just starts doing that.
Hit the sword.
It in the air. Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
When he just drops the axe, shut the fuck up.
It kind of reminds me of John Wick too.
Funny.
When he's telling the story about the pencil, and he goes like, "Did you hear?" Or no, John Wick 1, when he's telling his son the story. One. Yeah, and he's like, "This is the one fucking word I said." Right? Okay.
Also, like the weird
it's very funny.
ending.
In Russia.
The very much
catch you at a bad time, comrade.
Equalizer ended up using, because it's the same thing. He does the same thing.
I will never.
Russia.
I when that clip started, I can't speak Russian, obviously, but I always remembered the very end when he calls him Conrad, he goes, Dovadish. That way he says it, like, it always stuck in me. So when he said it, I went, yay!
Yeah.
That's the line. He does a similar thing in part 2, but the ending of part 2 is funnier, I think. I don't want to spoil it. Okay, let's get to the ending. Blade is drained of his blood. which, you know, is bad, but Karen allows him to drink from her, enabling him to recover. Is that how that works? I question that. He literally had his wrist slit. Did drinking her blood just seal that up, or what?
The logic is out the window at that point. Like, what does that do to her? What happens to her?
She's fine. She was up with a shotgun a few months later. Yeah, Zach.
I think it's more or less kind of like, for instance, in like Skyrim, you know, if you don't feed, then you start, like, your face starts cracking. If you're your eyes start glowing. I think that's the thing. And like, kind of like, for instance, when what's his name? Quinn, when Quinn comes back in the morgue,
when he's charred,
he just starts. Yeah, he just immediately starts biting people.
But how much did he drink from her? How is she still okay?
I mean, she said stop like 8 times before it was like a Harvey Weinstein casting couch.
I was gonna say, let's call it what it was.
The blood stuff.
This was the sex scene in this movie. They just didn't want to call it that. That's what it was.
But what it was. But to me, it doesn't change the fact that he still has his wrist cut open. So it would have been very funny, I think, is as he's drinking her blood, the blood's just squirting out of his wrists the whole time.
Look, I far be it from me to be the one to step in, but I do think that they tried to say something earlier about that. Christopherson said, or Whistler says at one point in time, like, all those injuries he's got will be gone tomorrow. So I guess the implication is, like, when he gets a whole bunch of, because he never feeds, that's not how he works.
The serum,
so when he does feed, like, it automatically heals up faster, I guess.
And I think it's supposed to be one of those. It's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like there's something else that would be similar. I don't know. But
better writer.
Then using the serum. So it's kind of like when a vampire feeds on like animal blood versus like human blood. They're going to be a little weaker feeding off animal blood than human blood.
I've never understood that.
Movie, get that human blood, they're more energized.
I don't understand. Blood is fucking blood. Blood is blood.
This movie is 2 hours long, and you couldn't squeeze 3 seconds of explanation into that anywhere.
Just show his wrists like healing.
Literally,
you've already got the shit effects in it.
I was gonna say they don't have the special effects for it, so just have him just pull his hand up and like wipe away the blood.
Yeah.
Like, just have him wipe away like where there's like a space for it, or have him like lick it off or something. I don't know.
Hey, Frost completes the ritual and obtains the powers of La Magra, which, again, they really didn't explain very well, because I was expecting the blood tide, and instead he just got red eyes and sassier. Blade confronts Frost.
The blood spring in the middle.
We like to call that the blood glue.
Action figure powers.
Looks like the guy on Fortnite.
Well, we'll hear in about 10 minutes. Blade confronts Frost after killing all of his minions, including his mother, which I had a little bit of not Stockholm syndrome, what's it called? Mandela effect on that, because I swear when I was watching this, I remembered him curing his mother, because even the doctor says at one point she can cure the vampirism from people who were bitten, but not people who were born that way. So they could have saved his mom, and I thought he did.
No, he had to free her for what she became.
Don't you mean you had to send her to hell, where MAGA wants all of those people to go?
I mean, to be fair, at that one point that she was being weirdly sexual.
She was being weirdly sexual with him, yeah.
And she tells him, like, I'm not your mother anymore. And so at that point, I'm pretty sure
it was open season.
Granted, like, it's the first time
on
he's
seen her
in all this time and all that, but at this point, you know, he can tell, like, she's just a monster. She's the creature that he's been hunting. Yes, it is his mom, but he's gonna like lay the body to rest.
Well, it's the zombie thing.
That's all I got for it.
It's the zombie thing. When you see a zombie of your loved one, you're like, well, that's not your loved one anymore. It looks like them, but it ain't them. I also really like the line we didn't mention earlier, but he had a lot of iconic lines of this when he's talking to Frost and he says, "You're just another dead vampire to me." It's a simple line, but it's very effective. Yep. It's very no nonsense. Yep. You know, he doesn't make a quip.
You out of your damn mind?
Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind? Initially, he finds Frost too powerful to defeat, but Blade injects Frost with all of the syringes of EDTA, and the overdose causes his body to inflate and explode, finally killing him. So much for La Magra, the blood god. Just all it took was a couple chemicals, and he was done. Karen offers to help Blade cure himself. Instead, he asks her to create an improved version of the serum so he can continue his crusade against vampires. In a brief epilogue, Blade confronts a vampire in Moscow, and she was never seen again. In fact, she was seen so little that Whistler came back for part 2.
He said, "Can you make me an improved serum?" And she goes, "Yes." And he goes, "Great." And then he gets it and he's like, "Bye." And she's like, "Wait, what?"
He should have looked at her and said, "Could you get me an improved actor?" Anyway, Zach, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I do enjoy, though. I still found it funny whenever the familiar chases her or follows her home. And he's sitting there, and then she sprays him with the garlic mace, which I'm not sure how they make that. I'm intrigued. Like, I want to see a scene of Whistler, like, making his toys. But he sprays him, and then, you know, whenever that dude's like, "Who said I was a vampire?" and Blade just knocks him down for, like, just punches him in the face. Nobody. Like, okay. And then just proceeds to break her stuff.
Followed by a better line. Followed by a better line when she says, "Did you use me as bait?" And he just says, "Get over it." He's so no-nonsense.
Like, my favorite is she's like rummaging him, and she goes, "You gonna rob me next?" He's like, what is it, the March of Dimes?
Yeah, so we're not the March of Dimes. That's good stuff. That's good. Like I said, the first half of this film, I think, was really good. And then David S. Goyer said, "Well, I've done well. Let me fuck it up." Like Seanan putting that toilet in.
Shannon will appreciate that whole fight in the apartment reminded me of Al Bundy taking out one of Kelly's boyfriends.
Just tossing him.
Where he just keeps like ramming their heads like into fucking doorways and shit.
And he probably robs them too, honestly, if it was Al Bundy. Let's be honest.
Well, it's Al, yeah.
Okay.
Now he's got to get something to fix the Dodge.
Fake watch.
So that was pretty funny. It's fake. So what happens after the credits roll? Well, they did make 2 sequels to this and a TV show, like Zach said, which I believe is all the same plot. And then Wesley Snipes did come back for Deadpool and Wolverine in a great cameo as, well, it wasn't even a cameo. I mean, he was pretty much a main character towards the end for the most part. He was at least a side character along with Gambit and Elektra.
Featured player.
The sequel is interesting because it introduces a new type of vampire, almost like a parasitic vampire. Kind of the shame of the vampire world, and Blade actually has to team up with a group of vampires to eradicate this new vampire, because this vampire feeds on humans and vampires alike. So he's a threat to both species. So they have to team up, and I think they're called the Wolf Pack. And Ron Perlman is one of them, and Ron Perlman is fantastic in that movie.
Well, Ron Perlman in general is fantastic, so I'm not mad about that.
And the director,
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, this was, I think
they work well together anyway.
Yeah, they're a good pair. And that's one of the things with this movie is it had a good director. Don't get me wrong, but Del Toro, I mean, come on, man. Del Toro's fantastic.
It looks really good too. Like,
yes, it does, and it's way more.
Probably the success of the first one, because I'm not sure like how successful it was, but I feel like a lot of people probably did enjoy it at the time.
Blade 2
Let me help you. 45 million versus 131 million for this one.
I wonder what Blade 2 was. I'm curious.
I'll find out.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now.
I already found it. You're looking at about the same thing. 54 million and a box office 155 million. So close.
Yeah, which again at the time was a big fucking number.
Yeah, especially for a comic book movie.
Fine, but back then that's a large.
And real quick before we get off it, Blade Trinity did 65 million budget and 132 million dollar box office. It's also a bad movie. It's not a good movie. Triple H is in it though, and Parker Posey and Natasha Lyonne.
I enjoyed the concept.
Dracula,
the execution was rough, and you could tell that there was disputes happening, especially the CGI part. But we'll talk about that if we ever get there. Someday.
So that's my thing. What I do on the show a lot of the time is I explain to you what happens in the actual real life sequels. The second one, they have to deal with this new murderous vampire, and the third one, they have to deal with literal Dracula, played by what's his name? Dominic Purcell, I think is his name. He was on Prison Break. Yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah, I like him. He was not good as Dracula. But there is a fun part where he is walking like down the street and he looks in the store and he sees all the Dracula merchandise. That's pretty funny. Zach, what do you have for us? Do you got anything you want to add to this? Anything you would do in the future, or Oh, actually, I do have something. I will say something. I just want to see Wesley Snipes' Blade again. Like, I want him to. I know he's not in it, and it's a shame. He would have been fantastic in the Avengers film. Maybe he'll be in a later sequel because they've got.
Well, hey, just because they didn't announce him doesn't mean he's not in it. For the record,
that's true.
They have said that just because they announced everybody, that doesn't mean that that's all the people that are in the movie.
Because we know Gambit's in it, and I'm pretty sure Deadpool's in it. It would have been great to have Wesley Snipes.
When Thor cries. Why is Thor crying?
What the hell are you talking about, Burnout?
It's from the movie.
Which one?
In Deadpool and Wolverine, there's that scene where Deadpool sees Thor crying over his body, and he can't figure out what Thor's crying about.
Thor is holding him, and Deadpool's just like this, and he's like, "Why is Thor crying?" And the guy's like, "You're not supposed to see that."
I guess I got to watch that movie again. All right, Zach, what was that you wanted to pitch?
No, the only thing I would be okay with Wesley Snipes coming back, and if they found a new Blade, because I know he can't be Blade forever. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's gonna get too old, like, to actually be Blade. But I would be okay because I think in some comic books, like, Blade has a kid. So if you do a movie after what we've already gotten, do it as older Blade. Finds out that he has a kid, whether it be, I think in the comics it's a girl. So
it should be with Karen.
Boy, whatever.
Bring Karen back.
Yeah. And that could be why Karen left. Why we never saw Karen. She made the decision because she realized she was pregnant.
See,
you know what I mean?
I assumed that when they were leaving, she accidentally slipped and fell back in the pit, and the doctor got her. And Blade was just like, "Oh well."
Karen.
I definitely want to kill that guy. I feel like. But no, so you could do that, and then just have him become like the Whistler of the.
I heard the Whistler.
Sorry.
You heard the Whistler, right? Okay.
No.
Whisklers.
It's a cat. It's a cat, an animated cat voiced by Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, in the animated Blade movie.
But yeah, no, like, I'd be okay with that. Or I definitely need to see him chasing Morbius, but I need the Morbius that only says Felicia.
Oh God! Look, no one's clamoring for that Jared Leto Wesley Snipes team up, and hopefully after Tron Ares bombed, after that bombed, I think it's over for Jared Leto, which means he'll be a fucking. He'll probably be James Bond in the next movie. I don't know.
I am talking about Morbius, the living vampire.
The better version for the cartoon where he has the hand. Yes.
He's got the
weird
hand mouth.
He has the little hand mouth. Felicia.
The living vampire, because they couldn't have dead ones. Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's so bad. No.
I think it's a disease. Like, I don't think he's actually a vampire. I think it's a mutation.
Well, I think in the original comic he was, but they couldn't do that in the TV show, so they had to make up some bullshit. Yeah.
Well, no. Hang on. It was the Hays Code. Yeah, it was a comics thing. Marvel couldn't have stuff in all comics. They could not have vampires, zombies, any of that kind of shit. So they had to find ways around it. So instead of being a vampire, he was the living vampire.
Yeah,
ergo, he's not undead.
Right.
Yeah. This was at the height of the Satanic Panic shit, like D&D and stuff in the 80s. They had to avoid that.
And Spider-Man,
that's what that was.
That TV show Spider-Man had so many great cameos by Marvel characters, and all of them were like.
That's how I learned about most of them.
Yeah, but they were all like defanged, not to to make a vampire.
But again,
like the Punisher was in
like
there.
That in the comics too.
Yeah, I was being more about the Punisher, because the Punisher was in that show, and it's like, how do you put the Punisher in a kid-friendly show? Laser guns.
Yeah, everyone had laser guns.
I did enjoy, though, that was the first time I remember seeing, like, War Machine and all that, because War Machine and Iron Man, I think, show up when Carnage shows up.
The first time I ever saw Carnage was that show.
They're at, like, an expo or something like that.
Boy, they fucked that up. We got to do those, but we got to do the Venom movies sometimes, because, boy, I've never been more disappointed in a trilogy of that I wanted to like.
Great. They're not great.
Anyway, Hunter, what about you? You had a pitch for us, probably.
Not for a sequel, because again, I haven't seen the sequels, and you guys I think have covered the most. Like, here's what actually happens, here's what should happen. I like the idea of having a Blade kid running around. Why not? We'll get into that. But
Blade Kid, that's what it's called too.
Blade Kid, yeah.
Blade Kid,
yeah. But I don't necessarily need to do anything different with the sequel. I want to rewrite this movie. I want to rewrite this movie to make it more interesting. So Deacon Frost is not an idiot, first of all, this time around. It's not just he has no plan where everything that he does is going to backfire on him. Deacon Frost is a quote-unquote low-born vampire. He's a turned vampire, right? And he's tired of being pushed around by a fucking league that is in charge of everything. It's going to harken back to Interview with the Vampire, right? Where we've got a group of people that are in charge of their whole, sector of the world. And we do get to see them do some shit this time around. Like, let's see them kill some world leaders. Let's see them strike up deals with humans. And he gets frustrated by this going, again, these are our food. These aren't we're not equal to them. We should be doing more than them. It's Magneto, basically.
And they mention that in the movie. He literally says, you're going to make it harder with the humans. The politicians are going to come after us. There's a whole thing they never touch on.
Yes. So we're going to do some actual touching on that stuff this time around. And Blade is still going to be on his mission. I still want to see Blade doing the thing that he does, but I need to know more about why, and I don't need it just coming from Whistler. Let me have a little bit of that from Blade, too, to understand why he specifically wants to do the things that he does. They turned his mother. They ruined his life. They made him what he is. I want to see him fucking struggling with that shit a little bit more so that we know that he has, and honestly, I think the movie should start with us getting a clear-cut look at him having a direct feud with someone who's not Deacon Frost. It needs to be some member of this council or the council themselves. Not a direct interaction per se, but the people that the vampires he's dealing with have been sent by them. Frost keeps saying, like, this guy's fucking our ranks up. You're not doing anything about it. You're not actually solving the problem. You're just dealing with humans. Let me take care of it. We're not doing this right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They keep just swatting him away like a fly. So Frost manipulates it so that Blade picks them off one by one. And Blade doesn't care because he doesn't know what's happening anyway. He's not aware that the reason it's becoming easier to kill them is because Frost is manipulating the situation where they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. They get the wrong intel. He's making it easier for Blade to do the things that he's doing. Now, Blade's not stupid. Eventually, he's going to figure this out. And he's going to ask Frost, what the deal is. Why do you want me? Are you trying to usurp power? What is it you want? And Frost is basically going to continue to manipulate him by pretty well saying, no, I want exactly what you want. I want to be free of these motherfuckers. They are going to take over the world. That's not what I want. I want to just live and be what I am. I can't get rid of what I am. This, by the way, is going to completely eliminate the whole Karen storyline, and I think we're all okay with that, right? We're not going to fuck with a vampire cure. We don't need to mess with any of that shit.
No, because it goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere and it's not interesting. I don't care anything about a vampire cure. That's way too X-Men for me. So, especially something she cooks up in a lab in 5 seconds and apparently cures a 1,000-year-old disease. Anyway, he says, look, I can't stop what I am. I can't not be what I am. You can't either. We're not the same, even though we're kind of the same. I just want to be who I am. That's it. And I can't do that underneath them. So you getting rid of them is beneficial to me, and it makes you feel better. By all means, we're not teaming up. I'm just saying I'm not going to get in your way, and every once in a while things might be a little bit easier for you. Now, of course, none of that's true. When this is all said and done, once he finally does, it's a little bit John Wick, actually. Once Blade finally does get rid of the High Council, Deacon's going to go, well, the only people who are left now need someone to lead. And it's Animal Farm, right? It's the same concept of, yeah, okay, all pigs are equal, but some pigs are more equal than others. Regime under him is going to be much worse, right? Because where before it's a mob boss story. Where before at least there was order, now there's chaos. Right. He eliminates the whole system. It's vampires every fucking
Joker, yeah.
Again, I keep referencing these other things, but it's not any one of those things. It's an amalgamation of them. It makes Deacon look a hell of a lot smarter. He's a lot more interesting. Stephen Dorff would kill at doing this. And it doesn't make Blade look stupid because Blade needed to do the thing he was doing, but he is aware that there may be ramifications for it. And so then he has to deal with that at the end as well. That, to me, is a fucking far more interesting Blade story than what we got, which is fine, but could have been better.
Honestly, I'd watch that movie. I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm excited.
I don't want to lie to you.
I hope it comes to theaters soon.
Yes.
I will say, I know a lot of people didn't like Marvel Zombies. I enjoyed it, but I
haven't seen it.
Read the comics.
I have read the comics.
I do enjoy Moonblade or Blade Knight, whatever his name is.
Moon Knight?
No, Blade Knight. Blade is Moon Knight in the Marvel Zombies movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So Khonshu ends up. I think. I don't know. But
is it Ali that voices him?
Yes. And he does, like, I like his Blade voice. I will say that. From what I've seen, and I mean, it's animated, so it's not really him. But the way he plays him, I didn't enjoy that part, at least. And it's kind of funny.
Fucking hate anime.
Funny.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up here for Blade. And I thought it was a spirited discussion that didn't suck.
That's right.
We got one more suck movie though next week.
Some people were sucking in the movie.
Hey.
Oh, but it's the best.
Hey, kids, do you like black vampires? Stay tuned next week when we review Sinners, right here on Extras and Epilogues. It's our final vampire film of the week. Oh, Zach's coming back for it. I just found out he's coming back for it. But that's not it for this week because we got one last movie for this week, and that is coming up tomorrow, and it is Trick or Treat. This is one of my favorite I love anthology horror films, and I think the only person that might like this movie more than me is probably Zach. So Zach, you coming back for that one too?
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right.
Follow the rules.
It's Zach month.
I'll be here.
Well, you got to follow the rules.
I have also never
seen this. Zach month.
I'll be watching it.
Well, Hunter,
I'll be watching it for the first time tomorrow. So,
Hunter, do you like Anna Paquin?
Yes.
Do you like the Brian Cox?
Go back to that. Yes. Again, for that first one, go back to that episode of After Dark that we did.
Yes.
I will say.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about this is on your vampire picks.
Yeah.
On your After Dark, I had something to interject.
Okay.
You guys were talking about Dracula Untold. I enjoyed
like that movie.
The fact that the vampire he meets is more or less it's Nosferatu, or he looks more Nosferatu-ish.
Monsters, played by Charles Dance.
Yeah. And then he becomes more of the vampire that we know now.
Yeah, no, Dracula.
Kind of cool.
Dracula Untold, I thought was a pretty good movie. One that I'm really
cool too.
I'm really surprised we didn't cover Bram Stoker's Dracula. With after we named out the month, I went, man, I'm really surprised we didn't do that one. That just seems like such an obvious choice. Maybe that's why we didn't do it though. Winona Ryder.
Whatever you guys want to do. It's always out there.
Yeah, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I like that idea, and I think Bram Stoker. That's from the movie. That's what Gary Oldman says in the movie. He goes blah blah blah. Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
So I think I can finally reveal my last pick. I'm gonna do it now. I really struggled with this because there's so many movies I wanted to make you guys watch. And as I was describing this movie to Lindsay, she said, "There's no way in hell I'm ever gonna watch that." And I went, "That's the one." The movie that I have picked for my final employee pick is called When Evil Lurks. Have you seen it, Zach? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh God!
I actually watched it on Shudder the other day. It was on. You know how they just play movies?
Yeah.
I turned it on. I think it was October 1st or something. I turned it on and it was on. So I watched it.
Brother, that is one of the nastiest of horror films, and I don't mean that as the kid and walking down the street.
Well, the other one too, but yeah.
All of them. That movie is wicked. Like, when I think of straight up horror, this was the first thing that came to my mind. This is not a fun movie. No. This is a brutal movie, so I'm really excited.
It's very mean.
I kind of want to make Lindsay watch it now and bring her on for it, because she said she wouldn't.
She's going to watch it like this.
Yes, she is. Yeah, the dog scene with the kid. All right, that's next week. That's gonna cap off E&E's Halloween month, but that's not it even for this week. Of course, tomorrow we do have Trick or Treat. After that, Thursdays After Dark, we'll do some fun stuff on there, and maybe some not so fun stuff, because we've kind of been talking about what's going on in the world today, and we all kind of came to the same conclusion that maybe we do need to talk about it, and rules be damned, but we'll see what happens. And then Saturday, of course, I'm gonna pimp it forever. PZ85 Pro, our next PLE Fright. You do it, Hunter.
Fright Night. for real.
This Saturday, pre-show starts at 7:30. The main show starts at 8:30. 9 huge matches, all the titles on the line. We're on Facebook, of course, facebook.com/Podzilla1985. You can catch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/TwitchZilla1985. We'll all be there. It's going to be so much fun. That's this Saturday. Until then, the balcony is closed. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Trick or Treat. Double H, please take us out. Here it comes.
Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Some of them by whoa.
Oh, fuck it. I'll throw this in too. Why not?